In the house. Chris is Charlottesville's funny guy. He's Virginia's funny guy. He's just an A-plus dad, A-plus husband. You hear that, Mrs. Allen? An A-plus husband. He is his third or fourth rodeo on the show. We love chatting with this guy. We're going to catch up on COVID. We're going to catch up on the last 15 months. His fantastic son, Miles, is with Grandma and Grandpa. So Chris and the missus got a little freedom right now. How he's going to enjoy that freedom? If you watch this show, you know cannabis July 1 is completely legal. We got to talk about that. Charlottesville and Albemarle County, I hope you have a plan for cannabis because it's coming whether you like it or not. It's coming whether you like it or not. And it's going to be like the beer and wine scene was 15 years ago. So get ready, Charlottesville and Albemarle. I'm curious of Chris's take on that. If you have anything you want to relay to Chris Allen, put it in the feed. Of course, Rochester's watching right now. I see Rochester on the heat map. How you feeling before we start the show?
Feel good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
You feel, remember the last time we did the show in studio? It was like early March of last year.
Yeah.
And we were like, do you remember?
Dude, you know what?
And I said, I don't think this is going to be that big of a deal. And you're like, dude, it's coming. This is going to be, and you were right. Do you remember that?
Dude, yeah. I do. So, dude.
You want some more gummies?
Actually, I do.
Okay. We got some coffee gummies in here.
Yeah. I'll just take that'll work. All right. I've been starting the diet tomorrow for the last 3 months.
Yeah. Is it the COVID-19? Is that what it is?
It's the COVID-19, man.
Yeah.
But the last time I was here, right after I left, I got a text message from a school saying, "Come pick him up."
Really?
Yes. Yep. And I think before I came to your show, I went to Kroger around the corner and stocked up on a bunch of stuff. Right, the one right there on 29 and not Rio. I can't think of the other street, but the one right there near 29 and 250.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. And I remember people like acting like it wasn't a big deal, acting like they weren't stocking up on stuff. I had bags of rice. I had everything, man. I was ready, man.
Did you get the toilet paper?
Toilet paper, I was ready. Yeah, I still have cases of water in my house that I bought a year ago.
Toilet paper still?
Ran out of paper. Ran out of toilet paper. Didn't get enough toilet paper.
He really did say the last time he was on the show, which I think if we look at the archive was early March of 2020. Mm-hmm. It was right before the apocalypse hit the world.
It was like a Thursday or a Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
And you're like, I remember us even talking, you're like, you're not nervous about this? You're not worried about this? And I think I said to you, I'm like, nah. We good.
I was worried, man.
And then, no, you were right. Yeah. I was wrong.
It's so weird to think about those days because, I mean, knowing what we know now, the early days really weren't that bad.
Right.
It's just like everybody was watching Tiger King, everybody staying inside. People wiping. Did you get to the point where you were wiping down your groceries?
Dude, okay, why don't we say this for the show? But my wife was
the show's not
it hasn't started yet.
Oh.
We're just tapping people on the shoulder. So this is like the behind the scenes audio. They're not seeing us yet. Dude, my wife had me in the garage taking my clothes off. We were leaving the grocery bags overnight in the garage because, of course, the COVID got off the bags if you left them overnight in the garage.
Wow.
I had to wipe my shoes down because, remember, we were nervous the COVID was on the bottom of our shoes?
Yeah, it was on the kitchen counter.
It was everywhere. Yeah. Remember that? And now, with some retrospect, but we'll save it for the show. If you want to give Chris some props, put it in the feed, give it a like and a share anywhere you're watching. New York is watching this man. He's got a lot of fans in New York.
Family.
We'll welcome David Luzadar and Mark Ginny.
Oh, yeah, David Luzader. He's the guy here. What's up, Dave?
Dave's watching and Mark's watching. If you want to give him some props, just put it in the feed. Fellas, we will get to you. And ladies, we will get to you. Judah, we're in your hands, baby. Good Tuesday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Cville show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, on the I Love Cville network. You know I'm a positive guy. You know I'm a bull. It's beautiful outside. We got a 4-day week. We spent Memorial Day with some family and some friends. Remember what Memorial Day is all about. We thank all the folks that served in our country, our guests, served for our country to protect our freedoms. We will get to this gentleman in a matter of seconds. His name is Chris Allen. I love this guy. I think you guys do as well. If you want to give Chris some props, some praises, ask him a question, ask for a joke or a story, put it in the comment section. I will relay it to the man on air. I want to thank Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine for being a part of the show. Dr. Wagner and his staff definitely have your back. They're absolutely amazing. And of course, the fine folks at Ting Fiber Internet, crazy fast internet, Ting Fiber Internet. Judah Wickhauer is our well-haircutted director. Got a haircut just a couple of days ago. He's talking to the ladies or something. He's looking sharp. Judah, why don't we go to the studio camera? Judah gave me a scowl there, Chris. Why don't we go to the studio camera and welcome Chris Allen to the show. How are you?
What's up, buddy? How you doing? It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, too. It's been a year plus of us seeing each other in person.
In person.
I follow your many talents and exploits and all the successes you've had.
Oh, thanks, man.
On social media.
Thanks, man.
How's the family? How are you?
They're doing well. We spoke earlier. My son is off at the grandparents for the summer. We're doing great, man. It's a lot of extracurricular activities.
A lot of extracurricular activities. His beautiful wife is going to be watching the show, I think, in a matter of moments. Hello, Elizabeth McGill and Shelley Coffey. Thank you for watching the show. So how does it feel being no kids? Your beautiful son is with Grandma and Grandpa.
It's weird, man.
Yeah?
It's weird. It's I went through this journey of like, we get back to the house and I'm like, I wonder what he's doing right now. It's 6 o'clock. He's probably doing this.
Because he's your best friend.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with my son. This is the most I've hung out with him in the last, to be honest, his entire life, man. While the pandemic sucked, it also allowed me to slow down and really get to learn a lot about him, a lot about myself, about us, about my relationship with my wife. So while, yes, it was horrific, a lot of people lost their lives, it divided our country. But I think we learned a lot about ourselves as individuals, as families, and as a country, man.
What'd you learn about your wife and your relationship with your wife?
What did I learn about my wife? Without her, man, I would not know what to do.
Amen.
She's a rock, man. She works so hard. She's so focused. My son was diagnosed with ADHD, and just looking at how he operates and everything like that, I realized I have the same thing. So without her, we would be in complete disarray and chaos. And she keeps our house together, man. Because if it was just me and him, it would be insanity. We would get nothing done.
This is like my wife, dude. And
I got it. Yeah,
Sweet Pea, I feel the exact same way about you. Okay, I don't tell you enough. Our 2-year anniversary, I better get this right. Our 4-year anniversary. Our 4-year anniversary is June 3rd.
Oh wow! Tomorrow, right?
2 days from now. 2 days from now, right?
Yeah, today's the first.
You really got it. I was freaking out if it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's 2 days from now. Danny Elizabeth says, giving you some props right now.
It's my sister.
Welcome, Danny. Where's she watching?
Rochester, New York.
Rochester in the house.
Yeah.
How about what you guys are going to do now that your guy, you got about a month without him?
Well, next weekend I'm at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone with my buddy Mark Norman.
Okay.
So we'll be there next weekend. But you know what? We've done this thing, my wife and I. It's not too personal, but this is for people in relationships.
Okay.
In the past, we've done that thing of we've dropped him off at my parents for the summer.
Okay.
We get back home and we just spread to the wind. She's going, with her girlfriends, doing stuff at the gym. I'm going up to D.C. I'm trying to book my calendar. I'm trying to fill my calendar up. I'm trying to do things. And that whole time goes by, and we realize we really haven't spent time together. So I'm making a very conscious effort to go, hey, let's slow down. I obviously want gigs and all that kind of stuff, but I'm being very conscious about setting aside time to go, let's go to dinner. Let's watch a movie. Let's watch some TV shows. Let's just do nothing. Let's hang out together. So I think we're going to spend way more quality time together. Whether it's out at the beach somewhere or a little trip or just sitting on the porch, sitting on the back porch, just going for a walk on the street, just getting back to the basics. Because, man, you know what? This is like some old Dr. Phil type stuff. But honestly, man, and I know we'll get to this topic later on, and I don't really like to talk about this kind of stuff just because of where we are. But, like you said, marijuana will be legal here, recreationally legal here. But I'm a veteran. I do smoke weed from time to time. It really helps me with my anxiety. It really calms me down. And what I do, I'll tell you this, man, it's helped me out a lot. Because I have a lot of anxiety. I'm always in my head. But what marijuana has allowed me to do is just relax. And, dude, I've had some of the greatest conversations with my wife, I would say, in the last 5 or 6 months that we have had in years. And it just made me fall in love with her again, man. And it might sound funny, but I have to give marijuana a little bit of credit, man, because
Mary Jane.
I do, because when you smoke the right kind of stuff, or you take the right kind of stuff, my brain goes, hey, calm down, you're fine. Don't worry about the bills. Don't worry about dying. Don't worry about what gig you got coming up next. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Be in the moment. Enjoy your son. Enjoy your wife. And, dude, when I do that, we can just have these conversations, man. We reminisce about what it was like when we were dating. And there's been so many conversations I've had with her, and I go, this is the woman I fell in love with. And a lot of couples forget. You got to have those conversations with each other again. Just sit and talk. I know life can get complicated with the bills and, you got this going on, job stuff, the pandemic. But a lot of times, dude, we forget to sit down and talk to your significant other. You go, oh, yeah, this is the person. This is why I married this person. And just to be able to sit there and laugh and have a good time and reminisce and explore, just like how you become different, and talk about that, man. Because we become so different over time. We have to slow down and recognize those changes and talk about those changes and see how it affected your spouse. And go, yo, you know what? I do that now, or that has gotten worse, or I'm getting better at this. And it's helped me out quite a bit, man. I can't lie. And I'm pretty excited for July 1st, man.
I think all of us are. I think most of us are like, it's about damn time.
It is. It's about time, man.
Yeah.
It's what kills me about all this stuff, like pandemic and all this talk about masks and like I can do what I want to do. Everybody is adult. Everyone is smart enough to make their own decisions. But why am I, when it comes to marijuana, why aren't people smart enough to make those decisions for themselves? I mean, again, not to make this super political. Same thing with the abortion stuff. I'm not a pro-abortion guy, but at the end of the day, a woman having an abortion, that has nothing to do with me. So it's just like, do what you want to do. So don't tell people like, oh, they can put other people at risk and not wear a mask, but hey, man, you shouldn't smoke weed because a little kid might see you smoking weed. It's going to set the wrong precedent. People drink alcohol all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't adults make adult decisions when it comes to either masks, marijuana, abortions, how to deal with COVID, sending your kid back to school, all that kind of stuff, the vaccine passports, all that kind of stuff, man. It's just like we really just need to stop going at each other's throats and just treat people like adults, respect people's decision, and I'm always about giving people their space anyway. I've always been a social distancer by practice in like
because you're a little bit of a germaphobe. Right?
A little bit, but I'm going to say even like philosophically, just
okay.
give me 6 feet.
Yeah. Don't be in my bubble.
Right. Give me 6 feet, even before COVID. Let people do what they want to do, man. You know what I mean? Within reason.
I've been meaning to ask you this.
Oh, boy. I've got the Trump hands going here.
No. Well, there's a lot of layers to your onion. Okay, and why I say that is because you're in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, retired veteran, yeah.
Okay, retired veteran, Air Force.
Yeah.
A guy that's very open-minded, you.
Yeah, I try to be, yes.
Yeah, I try to be as well.
Yeah.
A guy who's got some fiscally conservative elements as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Very libertarian. I just don't want the government in my business. Sounds
exactly.
like very
right.
similar to you.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think this country learned through COVID and beyond?
We've always heard the term freedom isn't free, and that's exactly what we learned. We learned that dealing with the pandemic, it cost us about 600,000 or 700,000 lives. And it cost us all about 1.5 years of our lives. Why? Because at the end of the day, we have this thing in us where it's like, you're not going to tell us what to do. So people, they don't want to wear masks. They don't want to socially distance. They don't want to do this and that. So guess what? There is a price to pay. Unfortunately, people are going to die. We're going to be shut down longer, because I really believe if everyone was like, hey, you know what? Let's just stay inside for 3 weeks, this would have been over. But when you have 350 million opinions, it's going to take time for people to get on board or whatever, just to have the majority of people even come to some type of consensus to agree, like, all right, let's move forward with these ideas. It takes time, man. And we learned that with all these different people, it takes a long time for things to get done. And it's
Right or wrong? Or just it is what it is?
I think it is what it is. Look, the thing is, the right thing to do is, if you remove history in a vacuum, the right thing to do is to everybody stay inside. Everybody just listens to those in positions of authority, and this thing will go away. But I understand. Our history is complicated. People are complicated. We can't really look at things in a vacuum. Like I said, I was in the military, man. I understand why people are afraid of government overreach, because they're right. Look at the airlines when they first started charging people for luggage. When the Gulf War happened, not the Gulf War, but the war on terrorism happened, they were talking about gas prices. We gotta charge people for luggage and all this kind of stuff. You would think that would go away. Has that gone away?
No.
It's not. So I understand people being hesitant about vaccine passports. I understand that, because if we start showing the passport,
what's next?
It's going to be something else. It's going to be what's next. I understand that, but I also, there's a weird thing about military people where, like, we don't trust the government, but at the same time, we really don't argue about things we can't do much about, because that's how our careers have been. It's just like, I've implemented and had to do so many dumb things in the military because we just had to. And you learn to just not fight it. You go, you know what? Who cares? Let's just get it done again for the third time. That's what the commander wants. Let's just get it done. So there is kind of like this weird kind of sheeple element to people in the military, but there's also a rebellious element to it too. When I went and got my COVID shot, I just hear all these people complaining, like, how long is this going to take? Why do I have an appointment if I'm not getting in at this exact time? And for me, I'm like, this is hurry up and wait. This is classic military. I'll just, arrive at the cattle call, and they will get me when they get me. There's no point in me asking everybody who's next or what time. Just freaking stand there and just wait. And when you get done, you're done. It's just part of being a veteran, man.
What do you think of how politicized the mask got?
I was just talking to my wife about that. I think it's so silly, man. It's like, if you look globally, I was stationed in Korea, and I remember seeing people wear masks before it was a thing here, and I was like, that's weird.
Koreans?
Yeah, the Koreans. And you go, oh, that kind of makes sense. If you're sick, why are we coughing all over people? Why are we coughing on the oranges at Food Lion if we're sick? But I told my wife, I was like, now, even when COVID is over, when you see a mask, it's going to bring up things in people. It's like, we've made this medical piece of paper a political thing, and
political statement,
and it sucks.
Yeah,
because I have friends who they get sick quite often, and they go, I think I'm gonna probably wear a mask forever, because I have friends who didn't get sick at all. Like, my wife tends to get sick. My buddy Winston, the comic, he gets sick a lot, and he goes, I like this because I'm not getting as sick as I used to, or I haven't gotten sick at all in a year and a half. So it's very sad, man, that every little thing in this country is made either political or racial. And I just really wish people could see the similarities, man. I really wish.
Similarities with what? Of how close we are all together?
Well, about, like, not wanting to, like, this. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be completely honest, because I'm sick of biting my fucking tongue with a lot of people. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you can try them, sure.
Yeah, so I have a lot of conservative friends in the military and stuff, and it's always this thing of, like, whenever, like, look at the George Floyd thing in the comply, right? Comply with these rules, comply. Immigration, comply with the rules. I used to have friends that they would suggest to our brown friends, hey, man, just carry your birth certificate around so you can prove that you're not an illegal. It's just like, why should a Mexican American have to carry around extra identification to prove who they are? And my thing is, if you can suggest that, then why is carrying a vaccine card such a big deal? if you want Mexican people or brown people to carry around an extra ID to prove who they are.
How they respond to that? That's a good comparison.
They can't really say much of anything, man. They don't. And this whole thing of like, I don't like my rights being violated, man. I was just saying the other day, I would never try to make a police officer's job harder. But what I'm not going to do, if I'm in a situation and people around me are being questioned and I don't have to forfeit my ID, I am going to not do that. I am not about to forfeit my ID when I don't have to, because it's a rule, it's a law. And again, we talked about government overreach. When people start just handing their IDs over when they don't have to, what are they going to do, Jerry?
Ask for your bank account.
Yeah, why not? Or like, hey, let's just make it a rule where no matter what you're doing, if a cop wants to ask you for your ID, then they can just ask for it. And
because he's basically saying the barkeepers or the bouncer at the bar is asking for your Vax passport, then what's the next thing? ID all around.
Why not? Why not just forfeit your ID to random people who want to see your identification? But it's just like a lot of my conservative friends, when it comes to like police brutality and all that kind of stuff, to be honest, a lot of it doesn't affect them. So of course it's like, well, just
because you're saying they're white.
Yeah, because they're white. They really, they are. And to be honest, man, they treat different people differently.
Sure.
It is what it is. Now, is it all racist all the time? I'm not going to say that. I have to take every situation individually. I don't know, but a lot of times it is racial, in my opinion. But I just hate this thing of like, hey, you need to comply with these rules if you want to live. You know, but it's just like, dude, come on, man. You don't even want to comply and wear a mask to go in someone's store. You know what I mean? Someone is literally leaning on another person's neck, and you go, hey, if you would have complied, it wouldn't be a big deal. But doing this to go into a store for 10 minutes is tyranny. You know, it's oppression. It's just like, I don't understand how people can call this a free country where you see police harassing people and in times beating and killing people over the smallest infractions. That's not what America is, man. I understand we all want law and order. People of every race, of every ethnicity, of every ethnic background, of every economic background. We all want justice. We all want peace. We all want safety. But we cannot have police officers abusing their power and harassing people and hurting people.
Well said.
You can't.
Amen.
Yeah.
So what do you say to the anti-vaxxers? Are you torn on that? You see both sides?
Yeah, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, but my wife and I had this discussion.
You're vaxxed?
I'm vaccinated.
I'm vaxxed?
Yeah, I'm vaccinated. And the thing is, it's like, why do you think they're going to do something to this vaccine where there's other stuff that we do every day, our water, our food supply is jacked up, man. Look at all the autism, all the ADHD, all these different diagnoses that we really haven't seen in a long time. There has to be something in our food, something in our air, something that's going on to see so many cases of the autism rising, the ADHD rising, depression, all this kind of stuff, man. There's definitely something going on that we need to look into. But you think that they're going to put it in this vaccine for some reason? And like Bill Burr, one of my favorite comics, says, you're going to give the vaccine to all the compliant people and then kill all the compliant people off and then leave all you like tough, like we're not going to take any shit from the government. Like the government wouldn't want you guys around. Yeah. If anything, they would want to get rid of you.
People. Yeah.
So to me, it makes no sense. It's such a great point by Bill Burr. I want to make sure people know. It's not my point. That is his point, but very, very funny and kind of poignant. Like, why would they put something in this vaccine?
Your buddy Chris, is it Hasenauer?
Oh, Eisenhower, yeah.
Eisenhower is watching. Fantastic interview, he says. We'll recognize some of the folks like Brandon Miller. Is it Channing Thiede?
Channing Thiede, that's my cousin, yeah. Also retired veteran.
Watching the program right now.
Thanks,
we got some questions coming in from Chris. Stephanie Wells Rhodes, hello and welcome to the broadcast. We love you on the show, Stephanie Rhodes. So this is coming in from Kathleen Klein. She says, Chris, I haven't seen you around Charlottesville doing shows. How did COVID impact your schedule?
It killed it.
It crushed the schedule, like all of us, right?
Yeah, it did. I did do some traveling last summer with my buddy Mark Norman because there were some states that really didn't shut down much of anything. You know, South Carolina, Northern Virginia really didn't shut down much of anything. But I also had some friends. They were doing some independently produced shows in backyards that were outside, socially distanced. we had a good time, doing those shows. I did a lot of Zoom stuff. That was kind of weird at first, but I kind of got used to that.
It, yeah.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah. It's not the same though as in person, right?
No, it's not the same. I'm not a big fan of Zoom shows.
Right.
I feel like I'm way better in the room because I like to talk to people. So that's basically.
Well, you like to connect with people.
I like to connect with people. So that's basically what I would do. I would just kind of comment on different people's backgrounds of their, their apartments and stuff, kind of make fun of them, and then kind of go into jokes. But luckily my wife was working from home. That helped us stay afloat. My VA benefits and my pension. So, but to be honest, I didn't get a ton of writing done, but I did learn a lot about myself.
Well, one of the things I noticed with what you were doing, and Sean Hawkins says you're his hero, and he's giving you the heart emoji.
He hates me.
Over
He's
here.
doing it on purpose.
Where is Sean watching?
Here.
Okay, Sean, hello. Welcome to the broadcast. We'll get to these comments coming in.
Yeah.
What do you throw about what you learned from yourself during COVID? I noticed that you rolled out another virtual concept, which I'm watching. You're also doing kind of like a religious foundation show.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about that.
So I have a podcast that I do every week called Negro Please Radio, and it was around the holidays last year. I brought my sisters on, and we were talking about some of our favorite Christmas holiday memories. And of course, you can't talk about that stuff without talking about church. Uh-huh. And we started talking about our religious background and all this kind of stuff. And I was going, oh man, we should kind of explore this, because I went through, and I'm still going through like a religious journey where I grew up Pentecostal. I would go to church 3 times a week, stereotypical old school Southern style black church where it was a very long service. We would get there around 10. We wouldn't get home until 4.
Get out.
Now, and then we would go back again around 7 and stay till like 10, 11, sometimes midnight, because the Holy Spirit would be in the room and we would shout and dance and stuff. But that was a big part of my life. And I got to a point where I really felt like I didn't believe it anymore. And it was a big point of contention in our household. And my mom and I, we would argue about it. We got into really big fights about it. And
that you thought you were losing your faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I joined the military at 18. I leave home and I don't go to church anymore. And I remember when I first got stationed at Luke Air Force Base, it took because the job that I had, I was a radar maintenance guy. So it took about a year and a half for my life to settle down, because you go to basic training. Then I went to training for almost a year. So it's still like a school environment. So it's really busy. You don't really get a lot of you do get downtime, but you're really focused on school. And it doesn't feel like real life. So it took about a year and a half for my life to get back to normal again, to where I could go to the grocery store and, hang out with my friends. And I would have weekends to myself, and I would go, I remember going, man, I feel dirty. I haven't been to church in a long time. And I remember that being like the first thing of like realizing how much of a big impact that church had on me. But I also liked the fact that I didn't have to go, because I was forced as a kid, and this is not to argue, not to make my mom look bad. This is stuff we've all already covered. Okay.
Yeah. I was forced to go to church as a kid. Yeah.
So,
strict Southern Baptist for me.
Yeah. So I was like, I felt dirty, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I don't have to go, so I'm not going to go. And my mom and I would get into arguments about it. I would come home on leave, and she would go, "You're going to church when you come home on leave." And I would tell her, if I come back home and you make me go to church, I will no longer stay at your house. I'll get a hotel. I'll get a rental car. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to go to church anymore. I'm an adult. I don't live here. And dude, we fought about it for years. For years, we would fight about it. She would compare me to my sister's boyfriends. I mean, we went through a lot. But my mom has grown a lot in her Christianity, and my mom only wanted the best for me. And as a young guy, you know how you are when you're in your early 20s. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I was very insecure. I really didn't like myself. I was so angry about the church stuff, and we would fight about it so much. But over time, we got over it. I'm in a good place when it comes to religion. I'm no longer a Christian, but I find it fascinating to talk about what I went through, what my family went through, how they've grown in their Christianity. Like my family was, I can't say homophobic, but they went by the teaching of the Bible. Hey, we don't really dislike gay people. We don't hate gay people. We don't approve of that lifestyle. My family 180 on that whole thing. 180. It is a beautiful thing to see. Not that my parents never accepted gay people or trans people, but just the attitude towards it, because I grew up Pentecostal. You would see gay people, you would go, oh, he's gay, she's gay, ew, they're going to hell. Very judgmental, just a lot of fire and brimstone. But man, the church they go to now, it's all about that word behind you, brother, love. That word right there, love. That's what Christianity is all about, love and forgiveness and embracing people and helping those in need, man. And that's what we talk about on our podcast. It's the people's religious journey, how it affected their relationships, the background with their family, how it even affects them today and where they are with God. Because some people, they grew up not knowing anything about God or Jesus or Allah or, and they found Judaism, they found Buddhism, Taoism, or whatever it is, and it made them a better person. And I want to hear those stories. I have friends that grew up, they grew up Jehovah's Witness, and today it still affects them. How they interact with women, how they see women, how they look at marriage, how they view just relationships in general. And people don't realize how much of a big impact religious trauma has on you, because it's ingrained in you at such a young age. You are terrified not to believe. I remember when I started to get introduced into the idea of atheism, a good friend of mine, my buddy Nick, who I stay with now and when I go to New York City, he was the first guy to ever say to me, fuck God, I don't believe in God. Here I am, 30 years old. I remember being on my ops floor looking at him. He's a captain. I'm enlisted. I go, hey, man, you can't say that. God's going to strike you down right here in this office. And he goes, no, he's not. He's not real. Fuck him. I dare him to do it. And nothing happened. And I was just like, that shook me to my core, because that was something I could never do. No matter how much I doubted God, I could never say those words. And he did. And when nothing happened, I was just like, man, he kind of reaffirmed all the doubts that I ever had about religion, man. And so I'm really not a believer. I'm open to there being a higher power. Dude, I'm open to it being an organic being that just happens to be 10,000 or a million years more advanced than human beings, because I believe in aliens and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm open to that. But I can't say there isn't a God, but I don't think the God that I grew up believing in exists.
How do you think, how much of an impact did COVID have on involved in that faith? Did it have any impact at all? And then the second part of the question, are you seeing some of these trends of the level of depression coming out of COVID-19 that's happening? I mean, I think
it's crazy.
Right? And I don't want to quote the exact number. Anyone do just a basic Google search with COVID and depression, and I think it's now 40. Dude, in fact, I do remember the number.
Okay.
Now 44% of our youth are identified in some ways as fighting depression. 44% of our youth. I mean, that's an astronomical number. If I went in, I don't know about you and your family, if I went into my mom, who's a Cuban, who's from Cuba, came here in 3rd grade, not being able to speak Spanish, or English, and put it in English school, not being able to speak English, she was ridiculed mercilessly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bring this up to this day. What was it like to come from Cuba to Miami, Florida, on a boat at midnight with only the stuff that you could put in a backpack and leave everything else, because Castro was killing those folks? She still has PTSD and gets emotional about it. But when I would say to her, Mom, I'm feeling sad here. This person said this to me, or Mom, I'm feeling sad here. I didn't, sports.
Yeah.
She would say, shut up. Go outside and play with the soccer. She wouldn't say shut up. She would
like
toughen up.
Toughen up. Yeah.
Toughen up.
Yeah, toughen
Go
up.
outside and play with the soccer ball.
Yeah.
Come see me at dinner time.
Yeah.
Literally, she would say something like that.
Yeah. I think people are realizing, I kind of grew up the same way too, where people just didn't take mental health very seriously. It's just like there was a generation of if going to see a therapist, that means that there was something clinically wrong, like you were bipolar or you were just crazy. That guy's crazy. He's nuts. He's crazy, schizophrenic or something like that. But now people are realizing that mental health it's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. And even mental health was politicized for the longest time. But now you're starting to see more people who are kind of more conservative and really kind of believe in being mentally resilient, realize there's really only so much you can do on your own, and you need help. And that's what kills me about people like this, man. people who say that like they're these conservative Christians, you should realize as a Christian, you know, you don't do anything on your own. You do everything because God has allowed you, or God helps you get through the day. You know what I'm saying? You do nothing on your own. You do nothing without the grace of God. And then for people who supposedly believe that, to call somebody a mental weakling or something like that, it's like, come on, man. Your whole existence, everything you do, you give God the glory for giving you the mental capability, the mental capacity, and He affords you the grace to have a sound mind, to be able to live your life every day and not have to worry about certain things. And to blow that off because someone doesn't believe what you believe, you just call them a mental weakling, or you're making this stuff up. It just blows my mind. It just shows a lack of compassion, a lack of empathy, and a lack of understanding, man. Human beings are very, very complicated. And I understand we've built this whole society to where we might not feel like we need people, but at our core, human beings we need to be around other people. We might not need to talk to people. We might not really need to socialize like other people, but we still need to be around other human beings, man. There are very few human beings who are actually like, they can be reclusive. Yeah. Very few. Yeah. You know what I mean? For the most part, even if you hate people, you still kind of want to sip a coffee and watch people and go, I don't like that guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
If you can just be around people just to not like them, you still want to be around other human beings. And I think that's something that we realize, because a lot of us try to play this tough guy thing. We're like, I don't really like people. I hate people. We realize we need people. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of this depression spike. And you're seeing it from the side of the aisle, who, again, from 10, 15 years ago, thought that depression was a lot of BS. It's just people being soft. It's just people being weak. But they see the effects that wearing a mask or being away from their friends.
Or being uncertain about your health.
Being uncertain about your health, how that can, just imagine. That's how some people operate every single day. Every single day, they have a pandemic going on their mind.
Well said.
You know what I mean? So now people get it, go, oh, this is what it's like to be locked down. This is what it's like to be afraid all the time. This is what it's like to feel like this all the time. I think people are starting to realize what that feels like.
What did you learn? Okay, here's a tough question. Tracy Williams, what up, cuz?
What's up?
Sean Meyer giving you some props on your look and on your hair right now. What's up, Sean? Welcome to the broadcast. You got 5 states watching you right now.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to give Chris some props, just put it in the feed. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. We will get to you here in a matter of moments as well. What do you think America learned about itself from this pandemic?
I think America truly realized that I love America.
Yeah.
This is
you were in the Air Force.
I was in the Air Force. This is a racist fucking country, man. We need to face up the fact that we have a very checkered past, and we need to address it. It's not going to go away, man. It's just, until we address it, it's not going to go away. And the thing is, generations before, even our generation, look at me, man. I was just thinking about this not too long ago. Actually, yesterday. My father, born 1955.
Okay.
Has a son in the 80s.
Yeah.
My dad grew up. My mother grew up under Jim Crow South. Okay. All right. There was an incident where someone tried to lynch their entire family, but their community came together. They literally had to surround my grandparents' house with guys with shotguns, black and white. I was never taught to be racist in my family. My mother always told me that they were good white people and black people. That, you know what, they didn't agree with the Jim Crow laws, but if anyone went against it, black or white, you made yourself a target. So a lot of people were like, hey, we're just gonna play by the rules here. Sorry, man, I know you come to my store a lot. You're black, you gotta go through the back, because if people see it, they're gonna burn my store down. But don't get me wrong, there's also people who truly believed in this kind of stuff. But my parents never focused on those people. My parents always focused on good people, always on the good people, the people that helped them out. But we realized that we are a racist country. And like I was gonna say, my father sent me to a private school thinking like, hey, this is how we make our country get better. We put our kids in these environments where, they might be one of the few black people, because we're trying to give them a better education. And this is what really hurt me, man. Ever since I was in 5th grade, I've been in private schools. I was outnumbered. We were outnumbered at my school probably 20-1 a lot of times. A school with 1,000 kids, maybe 100 black kids, 50, maybe 100. So I go my entire childhood having all these white friends, man, assimilating. I know all these white pop culture references. I'm very comfortable with white people. It pays off in the military. And then the pandemic happens, George Floyd happens, all this police stuff happens. And I see people that I've known ever since I was in 5th grade, all lives matter. They're posting all this horrific stuff about black people. And I'm thinking like, man, I used to eat lunch with you, man. We were on the same basketball team together. We used to travel to games together. I went to your house. I've been to your pool party.
Yeah, your basement.
Yeah, I've been in your basement.
Yeah.
Some of these people, it's like, yo, you held my son. You know my son. We've worked together. And just to really, and you see that some of these people, they don't really give a shit about that. Because I've even had some people like, oh, you really want to throw your friendship away? It's just like, do you want to throw your friendship away? Do you want to throw your friendship away with me? Because I want to say Black Lives Matter. And here's what's funny, Jerry. With me being in the military, I was never like a big Black Lives Matter dude because like, I don't really know what that organization itself, what they all what it stands for technically, you know what I mean? But as a sentiment, yes, Black Lives Matter to me. And it was hard for me to say that because I had the military so ingrained in me that I've been people think I'm vocal now. I'm slowly starting to wake up, man, and really voice my opinion. But yeah, for me to even publicly say Black Lives Matter was hard just because I had that military thing in me, like, keep quiet, just keep your head down. And me doing that, I know that surprised some of my friends. That probably hurt some of my friends, but it hurt me even more to see like all lives matter or just basically a lot of anti-black shit. I'm like, dude, I thought we were cool, man. I thought we were friends. The stuff that people were saying about George Floyd, and I don't think the guy was a complete saint, but Jesus Christ, man, who deserves to have that happen to them? You know what I mean? You watch some of these videos, and you go, come on, man, how does someone deserve this? And just some of the stuff that people would say, it blows my mind. It's like you can say all this stuff about black people, about how, oh, you guys do this to each other, but you're going to ignore all the shit that white people do to each other. But, you're quick to point out every single bad thing that a black person or black people have done is very disingenuous and it's hurtful.
Do you think the pandemic brought the country together?
No.
You think it split it even more?
Yep.
Let's go down that road.
Yes.
How so? Everything got politicized? The line in the sand got wider?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just say this. Let me take that back.
Okay.
We've never been united. Let's be honest.
Okay.
This has never been a united country, man.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, we all just live together, and the thing is, it's like a family. Every family has a bunch of secrets that no one really wants to talk about. But we can still get together and have Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner. We can go to parties. We can have barbecues, picnics, vacations. But as long as we don't talk about that certain stuff, that thing that Uncle so-and-so did, or the thing that cousin so-and-so did, or
everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
And dude, that's the thing. There's too many white Americans that want to go, hey, let's just leave it alone. That's not how shit works, man. You can't do that. Because I just feel like it just keeps perpetuating. It's gonna keep going. It's like to me it's science. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. All those bad feelings, all that negative energy, all that racial stuff is still here because we haven't addressed it, man. And it's not going to go away. And I think what COVID did, it did make people face it because for the most part, everybody, every day we go out, we do our own things. We kind of watch things every now and then and we voice a little bit of opinion. But over the last 15 months or so, you were forced to sit at home and watch all these talking head shows, to watch all these videos of the riots, to watch the insurrection, to watch George Floyd, to watch the Marbury stuff.
Yeah.
You had to watch all that stuff.
Right. Where before you could go outside, change the channel, and forget about it.
Yeah.
Now you had to watch it. Heather Kilborn, the Charlottesville comic, is watching. She says, "Amen, Chris," and she's really looking to stir the pot right now. And she says, Jerry asked Chris about his opinions on the mayor of Charlottesville and the poem she wrote.
To be honest, I don't know anything about that, man.
I asked Heather. I asked right there.
I'm a bad local citizen. I'm not up on local politics, if I'm being honest.
Tracy Williams, whitewash has always been there. It has been there so long that many take stuff for truth that has been completely erroneous all along. Tracy Williams,
my cousin,
with that comment. Thank you, Tracy, for that comment.
Look at Tulsa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tulsa. I mean, they're digging. I think they're going to start digging up a mass grave sometime either today or this week. I mean, you're talking about angry white citizens upset that basically they see people of color doing better than them, man. And that's what kills me, man. Because I have a lot of conservative friends, man, and they always say, stop complaining, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. You don't see this group of people complaining. You got to work hard. But when you stop ignoring history, and I think, honestly, before I get to my point, that's the thing with a lot of people, man. A lot of people want to remain ignorant so they don't have to be held accountable.
Yeah, well, because they don't want to acknowledge the past, because they know in the present it's super bad, but it's easier just to bury your head in the sand.
It is.
And deal with it that way.
It is. So this Black Wall Street in Tulsa, you had an area. This is what's funny to me is like these areas that black people have created in the past are the same type of environments and economic opportunities and situations that a lot of these black Republicans, the Candace Owens of the world, and I don't like that woman at all. I try not to trash black people, but I can't fuck with her. If I'm being honest, I can't fuck with that woman at all. We've created these things in the past, and what has happened, Jerry? Angry mobs of white people, they come and they tear the shit down. From the beginning, they didn't want us reading. Don't let them read. Oh, they're uneducated and stupid. We start our own schools. You burn that down. You know what I mean? It's just like you make all these rules and you only allow us to work these entry-level jobs, janitors, porters. Yes, they're honest. It's honest work, but those aren't the type of jobs that you can build equity, that you can build, But the thing is, we did. And it's just sad to see us be stopped at every opportunity that we made for ourselves. It just got torn down. It got burned down. It was taken from us. Reparations wasn't paid. These people in Tulsa, they weren't allowed to rebuild their buildings. And then a lot of these angry white people today, they go, well, look at black people today. Y'all don't have anything. That's because it was either taken, burned down, and we weren't allowed to redo it again. It's just like you don't have a good argument to say that we never tried when we did, and we're stopped at every single corner that we get at. And it sucks, man.
Is the future brighter for your son?
Yeah, it
or
is.
Or you're not sure yet?
No, it is. Don't get me wrong. I know we're talking a lot of heavy stuff here.
I like it. Do you like it? Are you okay? Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
But I also, because people feel like if you complain about this kind of stuff, then you think I don't think America sucks.
I love America.
We have a lot to work on.
Yeah.
But this is the best time to be alive for everybody.
And the best country to be alive in.
I agree.
I
love America, man. I think we have a lot to offer. And I always say this to people. Just look how far we've come with all the friction that we've had. Not allowing women, black people, just minorities to do certain things. Look how all the great inventions, all the great things we've created in this country with the friction and the fighting between the different races and the political whatever.
Imagine if we actually came together.
If we came together, dude.
What could we do?
We created dope stuff under, to be honest, hostile, in a hostile environment in some cases. Just imagine if we actually worked together. Dude, look how much better sports got when they started to integrate it. These guys make so much money, man. And they thought black people were too dumb. And now you can't even get a white dude to even... be a number one draft pick in some of these drafts because we fucking take over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how many white running backs do you see? How many white receivers?
Christian McCaffrey's the only runner.
A few.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that what they were afraid of? I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know. What were they afraid of, man?
What were they afraid of?
Yeah, and I get it, man. Change is scary, but god damn.
Well, how about this question? As a dad. I'm a dad too. How old is Miles?
He's 8.
Okay, my kid Trey is 3 and change.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the challenges our sons are going to have as they get better? Do you think about you? One of the things that struck me immediately from you is your son is your best friend. You love this kid so dear, and it's obvious with how you talk about him. And then I say this all the time here on this show. I didn't realize that a piece of my heart was missing until my son was born, and then he
that's
filled
great.
that
Yeah.
missing piece of the heart.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is there anything better? Remember when your little dude was 3, you get home, he screams, and we talked off air about this. He runs into your arms, and he's got a smile ear to ear, and he's like, Dad,
Oh yeah.
I pooped in the tub.
I pooped in the tub.
Yeah. And he's going like 3 days without pooping, and you know he's in pain, and he pooped in the tub. Dude, the other day it was like freaking crying streams of joy for him.
And see, yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I would like if my son hadn't used the bathroom for 3 days. That's the kind of stuff that would be in the back of my mind.
You'd be stressing about.
Stressed out.
Yeah.
I'm panicked because, dude, I have I'm like a hypochondria. I'm a hypochondriac, sorry. And I would be thinking like, does my son have stomach cancer?
Right.
What's going on? Is
How
he
backed
sick?
up is he? Is he healthy?
Yeah,
Sure.
Is he gonna die? Like
Yeah.
that's how crazy my brain is. It would affect me. I mean, thoroughly. But I think the type of challenges that I think my son is still going to have to face challenges, unfortunately, with law enforcement, man. You know, I think about how my son is, you know, him being 17 and him driving a car, or, you know, him hanging out with his friends, and you got someone pulling them over and they don't know how to react. And it just makes you think like things could get ugly very, very quickly. Because there was a young man killed some years ago. It wasn't by a police officer, but it was the incident at the gas station where the guy basically lied and said he thought he saw someone pull a double-barreled shotgun out of the back window. I can't think of the kid's name, but he shot and killed this kid. And it was for nothing, all over some loud music. And again, this is what kills me. This guy, hey, turn your music down. I thought this was America. If that same guy has some big ass Confederate flag or some Trump thing or whatever it was on his car, and I'll go, hey, take that down. I don't want to see that. See this? That guy would tell me to kiss his ass. But for some reason, we're supposed to turn our music down to make him comfortable, but these guys are doing nothing to make anybody else feel comfortable.
So if the police officer says on a stop, turn the music down.
That's completely different. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This guy that killed this kid was not a cop.
Okay.
But I don't like this thing of like, oh, it's freedom for everybody else, but you need to comply with what I say, even though I'm just another private citizen. I don't care if my music is too loud for you. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like the lyrical content. I don't like the flag that you have on the back of your truck. But guess what? I don't say anything about it. I don't say anything about your shirt or the hat that you're wearing. But you've seen it over the last year, man. People do all these, with the All Lives Matter, the Blue Lives Matter, all these Trump flags, all these weird flags with all these just crazy slogans. But some person puts up a Black Lives Matter flag in their neighborhood and they're having their house vandalized. They're having the police call on them. And the thing is, what's scary is you have fucking police officers who will see a Joe Biden sign and, hey, your neighbor's complaining about that. You need to take that down. That's a problem. When you have police officers trying to tell somebody to take down political signs in someone's yard because, hey, you tell this is a Trump neighborhood, they don't want to see it. I don't give a fuck. And guess what? If some white, because the thing is, dude, when you go back east, you see it a lot. In the inner cities, you have a lot of older white people who have not moved out of the inner city, and they're like one of the only few white people left in the neighborhood. They got their Trump shit up. They got their Don't Tread on Me up. They got their Confederate flag stuff up. You think they're gonna take their shit down to make other people feel comfortable?
No.
Absolutely not.
Sure.
And I say all that to say that's what black people and minorities in this country are sick of, making everybody else feel comfortable while we're not comfortable. And I'm done with it, man. I'm done with it. I'm done. And a lot of people are. That's what kills me, man.
And that's what I like about your comedy, is your comedy, you weave into elements that are deep and that are real talk.
I try to.
You don't just do like superficial comedy.
I try
it's
not
not
to.
just like, and I'm not knocking, the first guy that comes to mind is like Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Bob Saget's hilarious. How you transition from America's Dad to this raunchy guy and be successful,
Right.
That takes tremendous skill to be able to go from, was it DJ Tanner, Mr. Tanner on Full House to what he is now?
Yeah.
I mean,
Night and
what
day.
he is night and day. Okay? But the comedy he's doing is so different than the comedy that you're doing. The comedy that you're doing, when people leave watching your routine and your stand-up, they, like today, they leave realizing this dude is smart as all get out. This dude is trying to influence in some way or another through his routine and his comedy us
Right.
by pointing out what he sees wrong with society.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm trying to, man. And I'm in a tough spot, man, because I really want to make this stuff funny, man. Because there are a lot of people who just get up on stage now and just pontificate on like, oh, I don't like Trump, or I don't like this, or Biden is dead.
Yours is high IQ comedy.
Yeah, but I want to be like, because look at Chappelle, man. I want it to be funny. I want it to be poignant, man. But to me, comedy should be funny, man. But I do like to get up on stage and try to educate and talk to people and give people my point of view about things. But first and foremost, I really want to make things funny. And I know people are probably thinking like, this ain't funny. But here's another
It's
thing.
real
too.
talk, though.
Yeah. Here's what's crazy about comedy. If I was up here talking a lot of like pro right wing stuff, people would love me. They would love to hear that, like, I agree with Candace Owen, that I think that black people should be doing X, Y, D, that George Floyd was a thug, and they would love that.
Why is that?
No,
Because your audience is that way?
no, but no, are there audiences there are audiences that are like that? I don't like to out people, but there are black comics out there where that's their whole entire act. It leans towards a right wing audience, and these guys make a ton of money because I would be like a novelty to them. A black dude who's conservative, who's anti Kamala Harris, who doesn't like Obama.
So is that a front they're doing?
For some of them,
Is a front?
Honestly, man, I think so.
Like they're chasing paper.
They chasing paper, man.
Yeah.
Because I've had some guys that have worked with some of these comics, and they go, man,
Off stage, they're not that way.
nope. But
off stage, you are this way.
this is me,
This is
man.
you.
This is me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to for me, the comedy journey is becoming this on stage and making people laugh.
That's great.
But it's not easy.
Well, sure, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're being true to yourself
Yeah.
instead of acting.
Yeah, and it's because people give me shit because I have a shirt that I sell that says "Don't tread on comedy," and it looks like a Geisen flag. You know, with the
Yeah,
snake,
the yellow flag.
the snake that's
Yeah,
coiled up.
yeah.
It's a microphone, and it says "Don't tread on comedy."
That's clever.
But there are people who go, "Hey, man, you're kind of flirting with, you know," and
Flirting with what?
supporting the wrong type of people. Like sometimes,
You're
like-
saying some folks see that as pro-Trump?
yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Some people do. Yeah, I had a black woman come up
But
to
that's
me.
a joke.
It's supposed to just
It's
be
a clever joke.
It's supposed to be a parody of like,
Yeah,
oh, I
I
know,
totally
man,
get
but
it.
some people don't get it, man. Some people don't get. Some people take it way too seriously.
And then how do you respond to that?
Because that's too close. I can't buy it. Don't buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not for you.
Yeah, and I do have to be conscious of when I'm on stage that I don't come across that I'm being like some bootlicking black dude. So I make sure I let people know where I stand. Like, hey, we can talk shit about liberals and you know and all this kind of stuff and woke and people being woke and all this kind of stuff, but don't get it twisted. I'm still a black dude. I still believe that Black Lives Matter. I do not feel bad for conservative white guys who feel like they're getting picked on. I don't. Yeah, you made your fucking bed. You can lay in it. Is a lot of shit unfair right now? Yeah, but guess what? Black people, we tried to fucking tell you. Now you're going through it, and you still can't look at a black dude and go, oh, shit, man, okay, it's 2021. I'm a white guy. I'm a white conservative dude that is heterosexual. I'm, and people, I walk into a room and people think I'm racist. I don't like that. But you can't somehow be empathetic towards me when I go, hey man, as a black dude, I don't like walking into a store and people think that I may steal.
Being profiled.
Being profiled.
Yeah.
You're being profiled and you don't like it and you still can't go, you know what? Maybe these black dudes is right. Maybe we should probably stop profiling.
Is that empathy?
I think that's empathy, man. And that's the thing. A lot of these people, they still lack it. But people are going, you know what? Damn, that is, because I had a friend of mine that I work with, man. Big ass corn-fed white dude from Arkansas, right? Never had an issue with him racially, you know, military guy. And over the last 2 years, his wife made him read this book about white fragility. And he was like, this is pretty tough to hear. But then me and him, we have a lot of conversations. He go, hey, man, I've never saw myself as a racist guy, and he never was. But he was just like, I had a lot of thoughts and ideas in my head that were wrong, that were kind of racist adjacent, and I didn't even realize it. He was like, I was very ignorant. And now I don't want to call him woke, but he is very cognizant of what he says and what he does. And I think he's a better person for it.
Robin DiAngelo, the author of that book. I've read that book as well. I recommend it for anyone listening or watching this podcast. What do you think of the cancel culture or this new woke America? Have you given cancel culture some thought?
Oh yeah, I'm a comic. I
Dude,
think about it all the time.
everyone's getting canceled left and right here.
Yeah, I mean, you have. I posed this question
Okay.
and no one really answered it because on one hand, you have people on the right that go, well, white privilege doesn't exist. It's not real. Okay, cool. And I go, well, if that's the case, then cancel culture doesn't exist. It's not real then.
How would you describe cancel culture?
Cancel culture is people going back and looking at things that are no longer socially relevant and using that, looking at it through the lens of today and go, this person should no longer have a job because they said something that's not funny or offensive in 2021. I think that's what it is.
I think a good one. This just got put in the feed from Steven. He says cancel culture is trying to eradicate Thomas Jefferson from the University of Virginia. That's cancel culture. You disagree?
No, I'm listening. I'm trying to. Are they trying to? Do they want to get rid of him?
No, I think he's saying that's an example
Oh.
of cancel culture. And which is tied to what you said, looking at things in the past through today's lens.
Yeah, he wasn't a great guy. That's the thing. We have to. Hey, these guys were our founding fathers. They operated on a totally different
Playing field.
that we did. Yeah. But for us to just act like they were great people, we need to stop and go, hey, these guys weren't the best people, man. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care what year it is. You have to know that owning people is not good. Owning slaves, raping slaves, beating slaves, not good. Even if you treated them well, it is not right to own people. That's not cool to do. You should never own people, not pay them, and make them work for you. That's
even more.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I mean, even more than just work for you. So cancel culture.
I think recognizing what all these guys did, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I just, and there are some people who really just don't need to be put on a pedestal. Like, I mean, taking down statues and stuff like that, let's put them in a museum. Or we've already talked about this Robert E. Lee stuff, man. He fucking lost. It's over, man. Move on. If you put all that shit in a museum, I'm not saying we should forget about it, but I don't think he needs to be revered as some fucking hero, because to me, he's not.
Do you think a lot of folks are saying the next 6 months or so, because we've all been stuck for 15 months, is going to be the best America's ever seen. They make allusions and comparisons to the Roaring '20s for the bars and the restaurants. Stock market, we know, is approaching all-time highs across all the indices here. What do you make of all this talk? This is going to be the best time to be an American ever.
I believe it's going to be fun for a while, man. But we also can't forget what we just went through and just slide back into our old ways. We do need to be better with each other, man. We do need to start addressing all the stuff that's going on. But dude, I'm so ready to get back out there, man. I watched a clip from it was an NBA playoff game the other day. I can't remember what game it was, man, but dude, just listening to that crowd, and they threw an alley-oop, and it was
it in New York? Was it?
It was a Knicks game.
Madison Square Garden. The Knicks beat the Hawks.
MSG
went bananas.
Dude,
yeah.
I was almost in tears when he dunked that ball and they went nuts. I was like, thank God. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because like I was doubting where I stood comedically. Like, because I have ADHD too, and I like things, I love things, and I let them go so quickly. But then I was like, man, did I lose my fire for comedy? And I asked myself that, but every time before I do shows now, like, do I really want to do this? I just drove 2 hours. I might bomb, but dude, I get up on stage and I get that laugh, and I see people, and I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, man. Like, I love comedy. I'm glad to see it back. I can't wait till we can do full rooms again, man.
I mean, that's now, right?
Huh?
Isn't that now?
It's happening now, man.
Yeah.
I just did the Keswick Vineyard last weekend.
Nice.
It was, dude, just being in front of all those people again. It was just fun.
Al and Cindy Shorberg, great hosts at Keswick Vineyards.
Yeah, it was fun. You know what else I learned about during the pandemic? Comedy is not as fragile as comics made it out to be.
What does that mean?
Because comics, because before people would go, hey, man, let's do a show outside, or let's do this thing. And we would go, no, it's got to be inside. It has to be at night. We have to have low ceilings. There are definitely environments where comedy thrives. But the thing is, it's fine outside. It's fine during the day. It's just we got used to doing it a certain way, and I think comics felt a certain way. Therefore, audiences felt a certain way, and it probably didn't go as well as we wanted to because we went in with the attitude like this isn't going to go well. But we were so desperate to do comedy that we were like, "Fuck it, we're going to do it."
You adjusted,
we adjusted, and it went well. So I think you're going to see these outdoor shows stay. Like this place called Soul Joe's in Royersford, PA. This guy, man, he created this cool outdoor environment. Louis C.K. just did it. Earthquake was there. Like all these top level comics that only do like arenas and stuff. Like Russell Peters. This guy makes $15 million a year. He's doing Royersford, PA, an outdoor show. Like that's how much comics miss comedy, and that's how well it can be done. Like if people just embrace the differences and changes and go, hey, we're going to make this work, man. So comedy isn't as fragile. So I think you're going to see more comedy. You're going to see it in more places. And I think that it's going to be a fun time, man. Marijuana is going to be legalized. I think it's going to be fun, man. But we can't forget what we went through. We have to find a civil way to sit and talk. And look, I get it. If you're a white conservative, I know some of the shit that I'm saying, it hurts. But y'all say a lot of shit about us that really hurts us. And some of the shit ain't true. Some of it is true. We all need to take an inventory and go, you know what? I've contributed to this whole shitstorm by doing X, Y, and Z. We should stop doing this. Let's be mature. Let's talk about our differences. And let's try to move on and be better to each other, man.
Where can we find you? Everybody's asking. Where can we find you? Where can we listen? Where can we
Chris
watch?
Allen, at Chris Allen Comedy, ALAN. Like Jerry said, my sister and I, we do a weekly live show on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. It's called Do You Believe? It's actually coming on tonight at 8 p.m. It streams live. I'm having my buddy Umar Khan on, who's a first-generation Pakistani Muslim who is no longer Muslim, where we're going to talk about his journey. And I also do another weekly podcast, Negro Please Radio. It comes out every Monday. It's on Spotify, iTunes, and all that kind of stuff. And I do one more show with a good friend of mine, also another comic named Winston Hodges, Host Battle. That comes out every Monday as well. And you can find that on Spotify, iTunes. And it's just about politics, sports, all kind of stuff, comedy, just life. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Please follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to really step my YouTube game up.
I want 1,000 subscribers.
I want 1,000 subscribers, man. I want 1,000. I'm like at almost 700 now. So that's also at Chris Allen Comedy, ALAN. And dude, I'm just trying to figure out something that I really want to do, man. So
how about this one is from Grace. Where can I see him in person, Jerry?
Oh, you know what? Once the Southern opens back up, I will be here at the Southern every Monday. At the Southern, my almost every Monday comedy show here at the Downtown Mall. But if you want to see me live in this area, there's a new comedy club in Richmond. It's called Sandman Comedy Club. I will be headlining July 1st through the 3rd.
Nice.
That is the same weekend that marijuana will be legalized. So what I want people to do is get high as shit and come watch me perform 5 shows that weekend, July 1st through the 3rd. Sandman Comedy Club, downtown on Gray Street in Richmond, Virginia.
Your family says we are very proud of you.
They should.
And please subscribe. He says
subscribe.
Sean says Host Battle is a must listen, and that your son is going to 100% be a game developer. He's calling it right now. Put it in stone. Yeah. This guy, A+ people. His name is Chris Allen. Chris, thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
We were going to go to 1 o'clock. We went to 1:40.
Oh, geez. I'm sorry, baby.
I hope you didn't have an appointment.
No, I did not. I don't have a kid with me, man. So
that's right. You can do what
good,
you want
man.
Now. His kid's at
I might go home and have sex with my wife on the kitchen counter.
There you go. There you go. Judah Winkower. I love it. Chris Allen, follow him on social, guys. This is the I Love Seville show. We're grateful for you guys joining us today. I'm looking at the calendar for tomorrow. Ooh, Andre Xavier's on tomorrow's show. He's the new owner of Patch Brewery in Gordonsville. He also owns Seville Hop on Tours and Seville Travel with John Craig. So Andre Xavier and his new brewmaster for Patch on the show tomorrow. It's the I Love Seville show where we have real talk for about an hour to 90 minutes a day on the I Love Seville network. Thank you for joining us, guys, on a Tuesday. Take care. Chris, it was great.
Whew, I got to watch my back when I go out there now.
Dude, that was an hour and change. That was great.